So in this segment, we're going to talk about the factors to consider when you're reviewing multiple offers when you're selling your home. So the majority of sellers that I work with are obviously very excited when they receive multiple offers, even a couple offers. It means that the home was priced right. Buyers are excited to move forward. They're excited enough to compete with others in order to make the home theirs. Now, there's a hard stop here if you've not watched the segments of this course on pricing. Because pricing a home correctly is one of the most important factors in increasing the likelihood that you'll get multiple offers. So if you've not watched those segments, stop right now, go back and watch those first. All right, so getting multiple offers. Obviously, it's exciting even getting a couple offers, but that can quickly become overwhelming if the offers aren't presented and reviewed in a very systematic way. It'll be important to have all the information clearly outlined when you're making your decision, whether there are 2 offers or 12. Some agents like to use a worksheet, a spreadsheet that outlines the various items, and make sure that you're really comparing apples to apples with all of the offers that are on the table. So here are the factors you should consider when making your decision on multiple offers. First is the financial terms. Compare the offer prices. What is each buyer offering to pay for your home? And keep in mind that the highest offer isn't always the best offer. And we're going to see why as we go through some of the other factors. Next thing, are they including an escalation clause in the contract? Escalation clause, sorry. What's the maximum price they're willing to pay should you end up exercising that escalation? And if you need more information on what an escalation clause is and how it works, I have a whole other segment about those in a different video in this course. So you can look up escalation clauses, watch that segment as well. It's also good to know how much earnest money the buyer's putting down with the deposit. Should you accept their offer and the amount and the terms, that earnest money can vary depending on how badly they want their offer accepted. Is it more the standard or is it higher to show that they're really serious? Next up, seller concessions. Are they asking you as the seller to provide a credit at closing, credit for closing costs, a repair, an update that you've already disclosed? If so, that's going to impact your bottom line and what you walked away with from the deal. Okay? Next factor. The terms with the offer. First, are they paying cash or getting a loan? It's true that cash is king. If you get a cash offer, that's usually a win. It typically means a faster closing, a smoother transaction. There's no lender involved with the deal. The appraisal won't come back too low and impact the mortgage. If it requires a loan, how much is the down payment? What kind of loan program is it? Loans backed by the government like FHA, VA, sometimes USDA, they have a lower down payment and stricter review of the property than a more conventional loan that has a bigger down payment. So there could be more risk with those government mortgages not getting approved. So those details matter if there's a lender involved in the deal. If there's a lender involved in the deal as well, is there a pre-approval letter included? First of all, I never would even look at an offer without a pre-approval letter. And same thing, if it's an all-cash offer, you should always have proof of funds. The pre-approval letter means they've been looked at and qualified and ready to move forward with on the deal. I would always get the lender's contact information as well and verify that they're able to get the loan done in the time specified in the contract. Sort of verify the strength of the buyer before accepting the offer. All right. Next up, dates and deadlines. Is there an inspection deadline, or in states like Massachusetts, a purchase and sale or a due diligence time frame? Typically it's 7 to 10 days. So they're asking for a shorter time frame or a longer time frame. Are they waiving the inspection altogether? Sometimes the appraisal gets waived, even on a deal where there's a lender involved. The buyer's putting enough money down that if the appraisal comes back lower, they still have enough money to cover that. So it's not a risk. And some lenders will share that information with the buyer prior to the offer, saying like, you're putting down enough that you don't worry about the appraisal. And that can really strengthen the offer. So as far as other dates, what are the closing dates? Is it a short close, a long close? If you need a few more days to move out, after it closes is the seller allowing that buffer between closing and move out. Is the buyer allowing that, excuse me. Then you'll have the luxury of receiving the funds when the deal closes, but you'll have some extra time to move and clean the place out at a little bit of a slower pace if you're purchasing another house to move into and need those funds ahead of time, but it has a different close date. That in and of itself can be a huge incentive to accept the offer. So, but keep in mind, there's usually a separate agreement written up where you have to pay a per diem rent to the new owner for the time that you're in the house. But if you're in a bind, it's usually worth it. The other thing is, how long is the offer good for? The response time. Is there a deadline? No one likes being pressured or rushed to make a decision, even on a cash offer, but offers usually have a deadline. Side note, like when I'm representing a buyer, I always put an offer deadline. And usually I give the seller at least till the end of the day, especially if that offer comes in the morning. The only exception is if the seller's agent has already said to me, we have multiple offers likely to come in, I'll put a shorter deadline because I don't want my buyer to have to compete, especially if they give a really good offer. And I'll say, make a decision on this. So there are two sides to that story there. Next up, home sale contingencies. Do the buyers need to sell their home in order to purchase yours? If so, is their house currently on the market with a good agent? Or better yet, is it already under contract? These items will affect the timeline of your sale. So should you move forward with their offer? Next up, compensation. If you haven't already watched my video on buyer agent compensation before, to be sure to do that right away. Compensation is negotiable with an offer and they can impact your bottom line. Keep in mind that some buyers might be giving you a really great offer and all the other factors of that offer are really, really good for you, but they've put the max toward the offer and then they don't have the additional funds to pay the fee to their agent. So if everything else about that offer seems really, really good, maybe paying that fee is worth it to you. Your agent should go over all those details with you. And finally, are there any other considerations they're asking for? For example, you just got a brand new refrigerator that you were planning to take with you for your new home or new build because it fits in it, but they're asking for it. Or your newer washer and dryer fits really well in your new laundry room, but they're asking for it. So those are other things to consider. It'll be important to put all of them side by side so you can compare apples to apples. But I think you can see that there are really a lot of things that come into play when making the best offer, more than just price. It depends on your particular situation, where you need to be, what do you want to come out with in the end, how you want the process to go. And again, a good agent will put this on a spreadsheet, compare the pros and cons in order to help you make that decision. In the meantime, I hope this video will help you make that decision as well.